That's a good question, but that's a tough question. I'll be honest with you. The reason I don't watch a lot of Arabic content is that I don't find it as entertaining. Not
Okay.
because I appreciate some of the stories, but I just don't think we've created that quality of content that will allow me to spend whatever little time I have
Mm-hmm.
to watch that.
Hello and welcome to the Mayman Show. We are coming to you from our studios in Riyadh, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And with us today is a visionary and a pioneer in Arab filmmaking. He is the Chief Commercial Officer, Executive Producer at Katara Studios, Hussein Fakhri. Thank you so much for taking the time to be in our studios while you're in Saudi.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Humbling introduction. Thank you.
No, I mean, I think you're being a bit humble, but when the audience listens to the conversation we're going to have about the work that you've done, they'll see why I call you a visionary. So, let's start from the beginning. You like storytelling. What
Yes.
pulled you into that world of storytelling? And then is there like a project that when you first started, that you hold near and dear to your heart?
Well, there wasn't a sort of defining moment. Storytelling, I think, is in our DNA as Arabs generally, right? We come from a long line of storytellers. It's really part of who we are.
Yeah.
For me, the career advancement was very much evolutionary, organic. I come from an advertising marketing background.
Ah, nice.
I had my own advertising agency, and then we had so much work. I had to found a film production company to be able to shoot our TV commercials.
Okay.
And so I had hired filmmakers, and we started doing short films and more brand films and documentaries, and that just sort of evolved. And I just loved the craft, although I'm not a filmmaker myself, but I just love the business of it.
Okay.
And that really evolved into Katara Studios, which we founded in 2018 with a group of very talented filmmakers.
Mm-hmm.
And watching them work and watching the kind of stuff that they do, just the love for it grew, to be honest.
All right. And then what influences did you feel helped you shape up your business/creative leadership?
Very easy, actually. The kind of need for Arabic content was and is the main driver of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We have a huge audience. We have 500 million Arabic speakers.
All right.
And we have very little premium content for them.
Okay.
And, there was a gap there that was spotted and an opportunity to be able to create premium content for this primary audience. And then on from that, we also have a lot of people around the world that are very interested in our culture, are very interested in our part of the world. And I don't think we've given them enough content to engage with us. And that's what we're trying to do ultimately.
Okay. And so when you say content, I mean, obviously there's a lot of content being created in the region, but can you define
Sure.
what quality or what kind of content you're hoping to create through your work?
Well, what I mean by premium, first of all, the content is feature films and TV shows, TV series.
Yeah.
And premium content meaning high production value, well-written entertainment, essentially.
Okay.
That people will watch regardless of where they're from. They'll be entertained by this content.
Okay.
That is up to an international standard, if you like.
All right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And then so you just mentioned earlier you were in the marketing and advertising
Yes.
world, and was that in Ireland if I'm not mistaken? Correct?
Yes, so I grew up in Ireland,
Yeah.
and I was at the sort of cusp of the digital age
Okay.
when online advertising started. So we used to represent Yahoo in the Republic of Ireland, selling all their advertising
Okay.
back then. So it was a very, very exciting time.
All right.
Yeah.
And so you were just mentioning earlier that you had an appreciation for those who make like the video content and everything, but from the skill set that you had as a marketeer and not a filmmaker or a producer, what would you believe that you took from those skills and you apply to what you do today?
Well, I mean, from being around during that time specifically, everybody was sort of scrambled to see what they were going to do with this new digital age and the internet and online advertising. Very similar, really, to what's happening today with sort of with AI and how AI is going to change everything. And everybody believes that they're no longer going to have jobs, and they're going to be making full films on AI, which I believe is still quite a while away.
Yeah.
But a very similar feel to what was happening back then. And I guess I've taken some lessons from them that actually, you just have to find how you can apply it best to what you do. And, marketing skills are, I think, the most sort of the widest toolkit you can have, because essentially everybody needs to market themselves, whether it's personal brands, whether it's the company you work for, whether it's the films that you make.
Okay.
They all need marketing.
All right.
And they all need marketing skills. So widely transferable, I believe.
Okay. All right. So it's complements with what you're creating today.
Absolutely.
In other words. All right. So tell us a little bit about your current projects that you're working on in Katara Studios.
Well, we've just wrapped 2 feature films that we've shot. One is a fantasy Bedouin Western, which is a new genre feature film, which we're very excited about.
Okay.
And we done another Qatari suspense thriller feature film. And we're in the process of developing a slate of about 7 projects, which will all be done over the next 12 months.
Okay.
That's on the film and TV side. We're also involved, we had done some opening and closing ceremonies. We're now working also on the upcoming Arab Cup, which is going to be in Doha at the end of the year.
All right. Yeah. Fair enough. So let's talk a little bit about the fantasy Bedouin Western.
Yes.
First of all, how did you combine those? What inspired you to create such a project?
Well, I mean,
was it spaghetti westerns like Terence Hill and Bud Spencer, or was it something a little bit more of a sci-fi?
No, it's a bit more sophisticated than spaghetti westerns, but
I love spaghetti westerns.
Yeah,
I just had to drop them into the conversation.
Listen, I'm not going to knock them; they're great, but no, I mean, obviously, we've had Bedouin shows here in the past. I mean, for a long time.
Right.
We've added a sort of a twist to it. We've made it more like a kind of a Western feel to it, like the Western cowboy movies, if you like, but with a fantasy element. So we've injected mythology, and we have obviously a rich mythology here when it comes to sort of jinn and stuff like that. So we've injected that into it. So it's a combination of all those things. It's action, it's Bedouin, it's in the desert. And it's got a fantasy element to it.
All right. So when you combine all these genres together, and experimentations, how do you balance the cultural authenticity? How do you showcase, I guess, the Bedouin into the mix?
I'm so glad you brought up that word, because authenticity is the foundation for everything that we try to do.
Of course.
Genuinely. It has to be authentic, because if it's not authentic, if you're trying to please an audience just by throwing stuff in there, it shows every time. But if you're authentic to it, you get the dialects right, you get the accents right, you get the costumes right, you get every element of it right. It really comes through in the final product. So we're very careful to try to be as authentic as possible. And I think we've done that with this project.
All right. And let's talk about producing the Arab Cup ceremonies. What do people not realize about producing, something of that scale, of that magnitude?
Look, it's really interesting because it's real time.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no sort of margin for error. You have millions of people watching.
Okay.
And so you have to get it right. But you're bringing in a cinematic sort of experience. You're bringing in a filmmaking experience. And that's, I think, the unique thing about Katara Studios is that we brought a cinematic approach to the opening and closing, the ceremonies generally that we've worked on.
Okay.
And so you bring in those skills, but you have to get it right. You don't have a chance to have a retake or to stop and reset.
Yeah.
So it's a very challenging that respect. Thankfully, I don't do that on the ground. I'm on the business side.
Okay.
But working with the teams, I mean, it's a serious challenge. But they've done an excellent job, and I think we've really sort of cracked it. And that's why we've done 4 of them so far, and 5 actually so far, and a couple more to come.
Executing on the spot always has those make it or break it moments.
Yes.
I mean, with me when I was a news anchor for live television, it was kind of one of those situations because obviously there is no retaking anything, which is the complete opposite of this show. But
do we have any blooper reels from you during that time?
No, they're hidden. Okay. Actually, or maybe I've just committed some arson and burned the library that has them down, so nobody can see them.
Convenient.
Conveniently, right now. No, but I think the archive for the channel 2 is no longer existing,
All right.
which had nothing to do with me or
the arson. Yeah.
Yes, with my arson.
Yeah.
So just a lot of film. Everyone, when they get into the entertainment industry in general, whether it's music, making movies, documentaries, series, everybody talks about going international, having a global reach, touching into the largest sphere of audiences from around the world.
Yes.
Your philosophy is Arabic audience first.
Yes, absolutely.
And why is that?
Well, because it has to resonate with your own audience first. Again, if it's authentic, your audience are the first ones that are going to pick up on the authenticity of it. So if it does well with your audience and it's done well enough, then it'll travel by default.
Right.
And we really believe in that. We don't agree with this approach of creating content because we want people in the West or people in the East or wherever it may be to watch it.
Right.
We make it primarily for our own audience, and if it's strong enough, then by default it'll travel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And since we come from the land of storytellers,
Yes.
as I like to say,
Yes.
the rawis and the hakawatis,
Exactly.
and whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
What's your confidence about the Arab storytellers and the talent pool that's out there today? How confident are you that they can enable you, achieve this vision and dream?
Super confident.
All right.
We're in a very exciting time. I've often referred to it as the golden age.
Okay.
Of Arab filmmaking, and I truly believe that.
All right.
We have the talent. We have a wealth of IP in this part of the world, whether it be historical, whether it be contemporary, whether it be war stories, whether it be dramas, love stories, etc. I mean, we have so much that's untapped. We haven't even scratched the surface. Couple that with the amount of talent that we have, and as I'd mentioned earlier, 500 million Arabic speakers. That is a significant audience and a significant potential talent pool, whether from writers or actors or directors, and there's a lot out there. I just believe we haven't had the support that has been required to be able to make us a player on the world stage, but that's changing very fast. And it's extremely exciting, and it's happening, and the race is on right now for us to have that kind of breakthrough Arabic show or Arabic movie, our Squid Game moment, if you like.
Okay.
It's coming.
All right.
Yeah.
So where do you feel the untapped opportunity is for fostering, talent to thrive here, is just from your experience?
Look, I mean, what's happened so far is it's been a lot of government support in the various countries. In order for us to make that sort of step change, we need private investment. We need investors to be able to come in and say, well, actually, you know what, there's a return on investment here. This is a viable sort of investment for me to make in a film or a TV show, because I'm going to be able to sell it and make money back and make a profit. So we need to show those proofs of concept.
Okay.
That's really what's going to take us to the next level, but we have to prove that first.
All right.
And again, I think that's coming. It's happened in pockets, but not en masse yet.
All right. And where do you see an opportunity to ignite that, within the masses, just from your hands-on experience?
Well, I mean, look, we're putting our money where our mouth is, pretty much, in the sense that we decided to create a slate of projects that have the potential to be one of these breakthroughs, if you like.
Okay.
And we just done it ourselves. We didn't wait for a streamer to commission us or for somebody to say, here you go make this. We decided to make it. And it's a risk, but I think it's a risk worth taking, because if we can demonstrate that we made this show or this movie and it traveled and it done well and it resonated with our audience and it was applauded internationally, then that's a win, and that hopefully will open up the doors for more of these kind of projects.
Okay. And so let's talk about a series that you're working on. I'm not gonna butcher the name because it's in English here. If you can just let me know what the name of the series is.
So which series are you referring to?
Says you're producing. Now you're gonna make me butcher the name.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We can
All right. So Ilhama bin Jabir, right?
Alhamdulillah Jabr. So this is
okay, thank God I didn't butcher it.
No, you didn't do it.
Okay.
It's not actually a series we're working on. This is an idea that we're developing. This is a very interesting character.
Okay.
He's a personality actually that's shared amongst all of the sort of Gulf countries.
Okay.
This is a real life pirate the British referred to him as a pirate. Of course, anybody who's against the crown or the empire is referred to as a pirate. If he was today, he would be referred to as a terrorist. But he was basically somebody who was fighting against the British in the Gulf.
Okay.
We found there's a novel by a Qatari author who wrote The Corsair, which is a book about him, which we found very interesting, and we optioned the rights to that book, and we're currently looking at how we can develop that and how we can make it either into a TV show or a film, or still undecided, very, very early stages, but it very much aligns with our objective of sort of finding characters that are shared. So we take a very sort of pan-regional, pan-Arab approach to the stories that we tell.
Okay.
Not just localized stories.
Yeah.
And this really sort of matched that mandate, if you like.
Okay.
So it's something we're developing. It's very early stages. I'll keep you posted, but nothing to announce at this stage in terms of that.
All right.
We're still studying it.
Okay. Well, let me know how that goes. I'd love to see what happens. And so, when you just mentioned there's a pan-Arab, pan-regional approach to creating this kind of content.
Yes.
What's your thoughts about basically, like the burgeoning scene here and within the region, whether it's in Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar? How do you see basically collaboration coming, in the forefront of creating this kind of content?
Well, I mean, this is a perfect example. We have many stories like this that will need collaboration and will need co-productions. They will need various locations to be shot at, so across the region, across the different countries, and also the fact that we're very much intertwined, right? So everywhere you go in the Gulf, whether it's in the kingdom or elsewhere, you have Egyptians, you have Lebanese, you have Syrians, you have all the different sort of Arabs, and we want to kind of tell stories that reflect that.
Okay.
And so therefore the pan-Arab approach that will appeal to all of the Arab world as opposed to just within that country.
Okay.
But collaboration is key. We need to collaborate. We need to first of all mitigate our risk when it comes to producing these things. So everybody takes a little bit of the risk.
Yep.
We need to merge talent pools, because you may find a writer from Saudi Arabia and a director from Qatar and an actor from Egypt. So collaboration is key.
Okay.
In making these a success.
All right. And so obviously since you're in the industry and you shifted from marketing, you must have had a love for movies and documentaries and everything. So what's your favorite movie growing up?
Growing up had to be Back to the Future for
Back
sure.
to the Future.
No contest there.
Okay.
That's
Which one? Part 1, 2, or 3? Or?
Well, 1 obviously being the best, but I loved all of them personally.
Yeah.
But
What'd you like about it though? I mean, I like Back to the Future. It's one of my favorite movies. But what made you?
I think just the sort of I think we all have a little bit of that fascination of time travel, right?
Okay.
And what would you do in that situation if you could go back in time? Yeah. So I think it's just one of those things. But also, it was just the perfect movie. It had everything.
Yeah.
It was just done to a T.
Right. I mean, I always wish I had that sports almanac.
Exactly. But I mean, we all fantasize about that,
exactly.
right? Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And if you had to, you watch Arabic movies, obviously, and
some.
All right, some.
Not as much. I shouldn't be saying this. I mean,
and that makes two of us. It's fine. So I'm as guilty as you are. But there are some that are entertaining, and that goes to. I mean, just because I'm used to watching more of English content, because that goes to that production touch that we were talking about. That you can easily notice if you watch a Hollywood movie when you put it next to, let's say, virtually any movie from any part of the world.
That's right.
What movie did you see or watch and you're like, this is entertaining? What if this was retold on a Hollywood budget, on a Hollywood quality control way of production?
That's a good question, but that's a tough question. I'll be honest with you. The reason I don't watch a lot of Arabic content is that I don't find it as entertaining. Not because I appreciate some of the stories, but I just don't think we've created that quality of content that will allow me to spend whatever little time I have to watch that. Right? I mean, everybody's vying for your attention. So what's really going to grab my attention to watch it? Arabic, and I'm not just saying this, but probably the best that have come out in the last couple of years have been the Saudi productions, honestly.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, maybe 1 or 2 of the old Egyptian ones, but very little, honestly.
Okay.
And that's the reason that sort of I'm really driven to do what I'm doing right now, because I want people to watch Arabic content and be entertained by it.
All right, let me rephrase this
Yeah.
because I'm going to get the answer out of you one way or another. So let's play a game right now. You've been commissioned to take a successful, I don't know, Egyptian movie, I guess, and turn it into a Hollywood blockbuster. Which one would it be?
Oh, you're putting me on the
And
spot.
why?
You're putting me on the spot.
You're not going anywhere until you answer this.
Yeah, that's really difficult. I think you're going to have to give me a few minutes to think about that while I'm answering your other questions. Honestly, none come to mind right now that I would actually put a budget behind to recreate.
Okay.
Genuinely, there's a lot of Arabic stories that I would like to be seen.
Okay.
Told.
Okay.
I mean, there's a number of sort of conflict war stories in the region that I would love to see on the big screen. To be honest with you.
So you want to make like one of those big war epics?
Yeah, and only because, again, I mean, I grew up watching Vietnam War movies, which I loved.
Platoon,
of course. I mean, all the Full Metal Jacket. The list goes on and on. But
there's a famous quote in Full Metal Jacket that I won't say, just because as soon as you said that, I remembered it.
Okay,
but it's all good.
We'll discuss it after. But I would love to see an Arabic production telling our side of the story, our perspective. And it's not a political thing. It's not about winning or losing, but it's just a really sort of telling it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I mean, just that goes back to the pirate that you were talking about.
That's right.
One man's freedom fighter or terrorist
Is another man's
terrorist. So on your personal opinion, how do you see working in a creative studio? How does it change your view of success? Because obviously you were an executive working in marketing and advertising. Yeah. I'm sure your path, what you viewed as a path of success, is slightly different than the one that you have now as a person who makes content, basically.
Right. Your question: what do I appreciate about it, or
what do you appreciate about it, and how has that shifted your mindset on what success is, basically?
Look, I think I've really kind of appreciated the craft that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it truly is an art and something I didn't appreciate before. I always saw it as a business thing, but actually watching these filmmakers and watching, even the writing process, the development process, and how they translate that to screen. It's a real art, and you get to appreciate the people that do that, and then you get to see why some are better than the others, to be honest. But that's really been an eye opener and a sort of a driver, I guess, to help bring these stories to life and bring them to the big screen. Because the only way that's going to happen is if you make them commercial and make them, because a good movie is only as good as. What makes a good movie great is the fact that people have seen it. If they haven't seen it, if it hasn't been marketed properly, if it hasn't been brought to life, it's a waste. So that's been a driver for sure.
All right, that's interesting. I mean, that's what is the difference between like as you said, a successful movie and ones that have cult following. Because back in the day, I remember when some videos didn't do good in the box office, they'd do good on home video rentals.
That's right. That's right.
All right. And so as I guess from one content creator to another, except we make different kind of content, but it's still content nonetheless. So you follow the show, obviously before we started recording. You told me you've seen some episodes. So what caught your attention as a content creator? What makes this, watching this podcast or listening or watching this podcast different than other content in the world? Or in the region?
Yeah, I mean, again, going back to a word that we touched off earlier which was authenticity, right? It's not sort of scripted and look, these are the questions I'm going to ask you and this is what I'd like to answer and here's your preparation. It's more free-flowing conversation, and it really brings out things in people that you wouldn't expect, because if I go into an interview and I know, okay, they're going to ask me these kind of questions, you prepare for it and you have the right answers. Your show is a bit more sort of free-flowing and just lets the conversation go, and I appreciate that, and it comes through.
All right. Okay. Cool. I mean, to me, it's like more of freestyle rapping. I mean, if you came to my studio prepared, I would break your thought process.
No, you've done that already.
Yeah. I do that with everybody actually, and I have fun doing it because
I can tell you're enjoying it. Yes.
No, it's just I want the audience to know who you are, and not the PR version.
Yes. No. Very good.
Yeah.
It's working.
Okay. Yeah. And before we wrap up the interview, I always ask my guests if they have a personal message to the audience who is listening, watching, or reading. What's yours?
Personal message is get behind this movement. of creating Arabic content for the world. We have a lot to tell people. We have a lot to show, and the medium that we work in is a great vehicle to do that.
Yeah.
So yes, support the movement.
All right. Fair enough. I mean, you already have one supporter in the movement. So
Great.
I'm calling out on anyone who wants to make movies, if you want to make a TV show, documentary. You gotta, listen to this episode and reach out to my buddy Hussein, and then hopefully we can start a revolutionary movement in content creation.
Well said.
Sounds good?
Yep, works
All
for
right.
me.
I'd like to thank you again for being in our studio today.
Thank you.
Had a lot of fun talking to you.
Likewise.
Seemed like it was a 5-minute conversation, but we're already past half an hour.
Amazing. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Appreciate it. And tune in to the one and only Mayman Show. See you later.